We are live on the Mets post-game show here with your boys CP and Rob. We appreciate you all being here. We are recapping, giving instant analysis on NLCS Game 1 between the Mets and the Dodgers. It's your boy CP. We appreciate, again, you all being here. Rob, how you doing?
Well, I was afraid of this, to be quite honest with you. Again, nobody knew how Senga was going to pitch, but he had nothing, and that was the biggest concern I was talking about in the pregame. Again, anybody could have pitched and pitched bad, but the fact that nobody really knew what we were going to get out of him is why I was concerned about pitching him game one. I truly believe you set yourself up by winning game 4 and the NLDS early to set up the rotation exactly how you wanted it to. And the faith in Senga was, let's be honest, it wasn't warranted. It really wasn't. What faith? He pitched 2 innings. Like it wasn't it wasn't something that, it was eye-opening. It was like, oh wow, look how good he was. With no rehab starts, with no way to know how he would bounce back from a couple of innings and his first time back out, we just don't know. And I said this: you're playing with fire when it comes to I'm not questioning the decision overall because I understand why they did it. But you're playing with fire, especially in game 1. The Mets have been successful because they've been winning game 1s. And you had Sean Manaea on exactly perfect rest, and you gave him an extra day, which still doesn't make sense to me. And now you have to win tomorrow. You were setting yourself up for a situation just exactly what happened, and now you have to win game 2. And now if Sean Manaea doesn't have it, you're really in trouble. And I don't know, it just didn't feel right from the jump. And again, Senga had nothing. It's not fair to jump on Mendoza or jump on anybody who made the decision, right? I mean, what's concerning is that what did he pitch 7 days ago, 8 days ago, whatever it was, and he was throwing 93. His fastball was 93. That's more concerning than what he was doing in the game. What he gave up. Throwing 93 when he's consistently throwing 96, 97, 98. Is what that concerned me more than what he gave up today, to be quite honest with you, Chris. But you know what? I had a bad feeling about it. I said it from the pregame. I thought it was a way to be cute, and I think that I feel like it was just a bad decision from the jump. You made me get behind it a little bit in the pregame, but man, I tell you, it was setting up to be a bad situation.
I don't agree. I don't agree. I do not agree. There's no way that you can tell me, knowing that Kodai Senga was going to pitch hands down in Philadelphia game 5, there's no single way that you would tell me that pitching him in game 1 of the NLCS is going to be a bad thing. No way. If that NLDS went to game 5, we all know, myself, you, everybody knows that Kodai Senga was opening up that game. Everybody. So I don't understand just the lack of, and listen, he went out there and he did not produce. I understand that. I get that. We have to live with that. I 100% own up to it. It's not like I'm not owning up to that. Let me just look you all in the camera. Kodai Senga was absolutely shit tonight. He had nothing going for him. Nothing. And this is a guy that I was advocating for him to be opening up in this series. I understand that he had nothing. But to tell me that you don't want him in game 1, to tell me that he doesn't deserve to be pitching in game 1, right? I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't get it. Because the only other situation that I can see is that Sean Manaea pitches game 1, and then Kodai Senga pitches game 2. But again, at the end of the day, what are we really giving up in terms of those two prospective pitchers? Can we take a look at the offense today?
No, that was the other issue.
Jack Diddley squat.
That was the other issue.
Did not have Jack Diddley squat. They could not touch Jack Flaherty. And Jack Flaherty also got touched up by the Padres. So, I know this whole focus is going to be on Kodai Senga. And you know what? Again, I wasn't impressed with him. I backed him in this game. And you know what? It didn't work out. But the offense, again, they looked anemic. And that's not the Mets offense that showed up in the NLDS. That's not the offense. That's not the Mets offense that I know. 100%, it's not.
Well, the one thing that what you said, and you've been on it for the whole time when you're saying that, it was going to be Senga game 1 and all that, but deserving is not the right word. Honestly to God, he is not deserving of a start like that. I'm sorry. The only reason why he would pitch game 5 was because the Mets really didn't have another choice unless somebody was going on short rest. And Kodai Senga was but that's the thing, Chris. That's not deserving. Game 1, couldn't say it was we were all shocked that Senga was pitching game 1 in the Philly series. That was just shocking, right? I think everybody was still in the shock and awe mode when that happened, and it just so happened we pulled that game out. Let's be honest. And he, could he say he pitched good? Yeah, 2 innings. Wonderful. But again, deserving is probably the wrong word. But look, he was going to pitch in his series. I agree with you there. And he would have pitched game 5, but look at the situation game 5 would have presented. Like, who else is pitching? Like, Senga went game 3 and Quintana went game 4. So it's like, could you would have went Severino on short rest? Yeah. But Senga was the only choice for game 5, most likely. So, it's not like they were very confident in going with Senga in that game. And I don't even think they were that confident. Look, if they were that confident going in game 1 today with Senga, Chris, I'm sorry. I was saying it from the beginning. It needed to be Manaea game 1 because of the fact that you had the opportunity to do so with the situation of the way you beat Philadelphia. And with Manaea going game 1, look, Manaea could have been shit, 100% shit. But I just felt it just did not feel right at all. Now, could it have worked out? I look like an idiot? Yeah, sure. And I don't feel good at all, to be quite honest with you. I don't. But I just feel like, I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
They went Senga for a reason, Rob. They went Senga for a reason. I'm telling you. Like they were confident in Senga, and they went Senga for a reason. They could have went Manaea just as easily as they went Senga. I'm telling you.
Well, then that's a bad job by then. Because there's no way.
And so be it. That's what it might come down to.
The only thing is that what sign did they have that this guy was going to bounce back after his first outing? That's all. That's the only thing that concerned me. Like, not that he was going to do this bad, to be quite honest with you, but look, he threw 93 miles an hour. That was the concerning part. He was throwing 93, 94 miles an hour fastballs when he's consistently 96, 97, 98. And he was that in the Phillies game. Schwarber hit a 97 mile an hour fastball. So I think it's not, I wouldn't say it's wrong, but it's like it just, you had the opportunity to pitch your ace and you went to Kodai Senga. And again, you try to hit lightning in the bottle twice there. And it backfired. Again, is this the end of the series? Absolutely not. You know what? After that first inning, to be quite honest with you, I didn't feel good about the game. I honestly didn't. Now, I don't know if that was just me, but I just felt like I think they were expecting more from Kodai Senga. Now, if that's I don't think that's a wrong thing to expect. I think Mendoza and Stearns expected Senga to give us more. But I felt like a guy who's hasn't pitched twice in a week since last year, That's concerning to me. And to put that much trust in a guy that you had, and I don't care who you are, what coaching staff, manager, GM, president of baseball ops, I don't care who it was. There was nobody that can tell me that they could have had that much faith in Kodai Senga when they had no idea, with no rehab starts, that this guy was going to actually do anything.
The Mets just told you they had faith in him because they started him, Rob. The Mets just told you by process of starting him that they had faith in him. So I don't know what else to tell anybody else. They had faith in him game 1 of the NLDS, and they had faith in him game 1 of the NLCS. They would not pitch him if they did not have faith in him in those games. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Wasn't game 1 against the Phillies a little bit more of an easier decision for them, considering the fact of all the days that they had to pitch guys and not really have days off? That was kind of easier because who could have went with in game 1, right? We talked about this. Who would have won game 1 Philly, right? It could have been.
They actually could have gone multiple ways. I feel like they could have even gone David Peterson in game 1.
Okay, but again, exactly, right? It wasn't Sean Manaea. It wasn't Severino. The thing is here, I think it was so much of an easy choice in this spot that they overthought this process, to be quite honest with you. I truly believe that. Like, I think they made this decision quickly. I don't even think they made it yesterday. I think they made it as soon as, we punched the ticket to the NLCS. I think they had that decision made, to be quite honest with you, to go to Senga. So it's not, I don't know if they had a big discussion about it. I just think, like I said, in the pregame, I said I didn't have a positive reaction or a negative reaction that Kodai Senga was going game 1. Because and that probably scared me personally, not about the whole situation, because again, we had no idea how he was going to pitch. I just felt, I felt like, okay, but I didn't have faith that it was just going to go. Like, if they had that much confidence in him, then that's great for them. But I felt like there was an easy choice there, and I felt like they overthought this process. I really think so. I really don't.
They clearly did have enough confidence in there because they threw him game 1. Besides what we're talking about right now, it backfired. Absolutely. I'm not going to tell you that it didn't backfire, because he looked like absolute shit out there. Like I can't tell you that he didn't, but you can't tell me that they didn't have enough confidence in him going into this game because they threw him out there.
Well, I'm saying they're wrong in that aspect. I think they were wrong from the jump, to be quite honest with you. There was an easy choice there. Even we could have questioned, like we could have easily had an answer of to why they went with Senga in game 1 against Philly, because there wasn't many options. Yeah, there was David Peterson, but it wasn't Manaea and Severino that could have pitched game 1. Like, both of these guys could have today. I just thought it was too much an easy decision, and I think they jumped to that conclusion and they overthought that situation. And again, look, it's tough because I don't want to question them and like kill them, because it's not fair. But it just felt like after the first inning, this game was over. It felt like that. It really did feel like that. And I don't know. They put way too much faith, and maybe they had a lot of faith in all that. They were convinced after 2 innings and 28 pitches, 26 pitches, that this guy was ready to go. And they couldn't tell me that they were able to find that they could be so confident that this guy was going to have a bounce back when they haven't seen it themselves. That's my only issue with. You could say that they had a lot of confidence to go with game 1. They might have, but I truly believe that one, they overthought it. 2, I think they got kind of cute because it was an easy decision to make. I honestly believe that.
Maybe they did, but again, the guy that they could have easily. There was a couple of choices that they could have made in terms of game 1, Rob. If they really believed that Kodai Senga wasn't ready, they would have pitched Sean Manaea on regular rest.
They should.
They would have pitched Sean Manaea on regular rest.
And it seems like they overthought it, to be quite honest, because how much, look, why didn't they just keep him in instead of going to Reed Garrett?
So we are okay. So we are going against the decision. Is what you're saying right now? We are going against the Mets decision. We are not entrusting in what the coaching staff
So say if
has
they were,
decided.
It's I guess.
Hindsight is always 2020. We know that, Rob. Like
Okay,
this is
but
what
here's the
what
thing.
we're talking
If
about.
he was, here's the thing. Now he had what 30 pitches in this right, for a couple of more than the last start, right? So now this guy's going to pitch again in this series when he still couldn't get the 60 pitches or 50 pitches, whatever he was supposed to get to. So here's the thing. If you were so confident in his ability of pitching in this game, why not throw him until 50 pitches? What were you trying to say?
I agree with you.
There you go. There wasn't that much confidence in him then. Not enough.
But there was, though, because they wouldn't have started him if there wasn't. If they did not have confidence in him, they would not have started him in this game.
You know in the pregame when we said we don't know how many pitches he's going to throw, like that's like the big question, right? What if it wasn't 56 pitches? What if it was only 30? And that's why they took him out anyway. Stupid. It sounds like a stupid question, but I'll tell you right now, I don't know. To me, it was when I even went to my dad, I go, wait a second. If you're gonna try to get the pitch count up, right? He was looking a little bit better in the second inning. Like he couldn't throw anything for strikes, but he was missing a few bats. Why not just keep him in there?
I mean, listen, you have a valid point, but all I'm telling you is that the fact of the matter is that they pitched him in this game. And if they decided to pitch him in this game, me as a fan, the assumption that I have to make is that they are confident in him going out there and pitching no matter what the circumstances. Like, I'm sorry, if you pitch a pitcher in game 1 of the NLDS, you're confident in him no matter how many, no matter what his pitch count is. If you go out there and pitch the same pitcher in the NLCS, you're confident in him no matter what the pitch count you have for that pitcher. Like, you can't tell me that the Mets aren't confident in Kodai Senga, regardless of what the result was tonight. You can't tell me that going into tonight, they weren't confident in him because, again, if we are supposed to trust Mendoza and trust this organization, as we always say, with their bullpen decisions, with all the other decisions, how can we not entrust in them starting Kodai Senga game 1?
No, I agree with you with the confidence of starting him for game 1. But clearly it wasn't a big enough confidence where they had to take him out after 30 pitches, because you could have pitched him 50 or 60 pitches to stretch him out, because the next game he will pitch in his NLCS. How the hell do we know that he can throw 60 pitches? We have no idea. He's thrown 52 pitches, 56 pitches in 2 games. That's not stretched out. And he had 8 days off. So to me, their confidence wasn't enough. Now, if they would have thrown him 60, 55, 60 pitches and just kept him in there to stretch him out, even though it wasn't looking good, I would have been on board 100% with you that they were confident this whole time going into it. But they clearly had to question their confidence right away when they took him out after the inning in the third. That's why I think they kind of just thought this was going to be a little bit of an easier decision, where they could have made the easier decision with Minaya because of the fact that there was no way that their confidence was that high on Kodai Senga, because if it was, they would have kept him in another inning to throw another 25 to 30 pitches, in my opinion, Chris. I
don't think I agree with that, because the game was still within striking distance, and they wanted to cut the
game. Don't you have confidence in a guy that supposedly should have been the ace for the year? Right? Clearly they didn't. Like because remember, after the Schwarber home run, they still kept him in there another inning and 2/3. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not like
he did pretty well. He did pretty well after that, right?
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, so they could have really got concerned after that Schwarber home, even at that first inning, be like, oh man, this game can get away from us. But they didn't. They threw him out there because they needed him to throw more pitches. Here, that's what I'm saying. They second guessed themselves right away because they took him out in a third. I'm sorry.
But the two situations weren't really the same because he was locating in that game in Philadelphia, whereas he just threw 4 walks.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. 3 or 4 walks. He didn't have location tonight. Like, and the Mets saw that clearly. Anybody, if you were watching as a Dodgers fan, you saw that Kodai Senga couldn't pitch a damn strike. That was the problem.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I just felt like no matter I don't know. It just look, we could have been talking here. Everything could have been right? He could have been great, and then we could have still lost the game. I mean, but I don't. I just felt like they overthought this process, and I think it bit him in the ass. I think that's exactly what happened.
Listen, bygones are bygones at this point, whether we agree with it or whether we don't. I mean, what happened at this point. You know what I mean, Rob? I mean, regardless of whether we agree with it or not, 1 1/3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 0 strikeouts. You talk about a performance in Philadelphia where you get burned on your fastball and Kyle Schwarber hits out of the yard and, you come back with 3 strikeouts. There's 0 strikeouts tonight. He wasn't fooling anybody. No matter what pitch he was throwing, it was out of the zone, and hitters knew it. He had 0 command, 0.
Yeah.
That was an unacceptable start from Kodai Senga. And yes, that's coming from someone who's not going to shy away in terms of me advocating for him starting this ball game. Yeah, performance aside, it's all 2020 vision when you look back on it. But that's unacceptable from Kodai Senga. That's unacceptable. It really is. That is unacceptable. Anyways, besides the pitching, right? And I think the bullpen did a decent job. I like David Peterson. I like Reed Garrett. And again, towards the tail end of the game, it is what it is. But I feel like the bullpen did, quote unquote, their job, right? Again, you're going to need them for the rest of the damn series. And you lost this game 9-0. So you don't want to burn them out too much, although make a case that the Mets might have done so. But, this offense, nothing from them. This offense did not produce nothing, Rob. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. There was no good at-bats. Jack Flaherty is a great pitcher. I'm going to give him his props and respect because he is a great pitcher. I will give him that respect. But I look at the at-bats and I look at the approach off of Jack Flaherty. Obviously, he has the fastball. He has a slider, which is okay. It's not great. But then he has that knuckle curveball. Yo, these Mets batters looked like they had no idea that off speed was coming.
Yep.
How? That was a bad performance by an offense that showed you that they could do damage against the Philadelphia Phillies. This is a new ball game, folks. This is a new ball game. The Mets offense has to prove it to us that they can get through to this Dodgers pitching. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, it was, again, they were fishing for breaking balls and not swinging at the fastballs that were cookies. That was the issue. Like the inning where the first 2 guys would have got on if Winker didn't make that crazy mistake. If you look at the at-bats, like the Flaherty couldn't throw a strike. I forgot what inning it was, but he couldn't throw strikes. Why are you swinging 2-0 unless it's you're looking dead red fastball, and then you swing at a 2-0 slider? Like, it was just pitch awareness, moment in the game, awareness of the situation of the game. You were down by multiple runs. I think it was like 6-0 at the time. Like, you needed runners on base. Why are you swinging 2-0 when all that home run's going to do is make it 6-3? You got a whole game still to go to get back in this game. And it just looked like they were swinging at bad breaking balls. His slider wasn't sharp. If anybody wants to say that, and, Fox made it seem like Jack Flaherty was, Sandy Koufax on the mound. Like, his slider was flat. The Mets were swinging at it because they weren't ready. They were looking. I don't know what they were doing. They were guessing at every step of the way in this part, in this game today. But just a situational awareness of the game, like first and second, the guy can't throw strikes, and you're swinging at 2-0 sliders. What are you doing? And this is the situation where, and there was moments like this during this postseason that they had situated like, what the hell were they thinking? Even when they came back. And again, this is why comebacks are always so much fun, but you can't keep on falling behind in games because you're going to have a situation where the offense looks like this tonight, where, yeah, it was 3-0. And, things could have happened. It could have made it interesting. Even 6-0 when you got a couple of men on. You could have got a little bit closer, tacked away at the lead. But if you ever, we watch postseason all the time throughout the years, right? Comebacks eventually don't always happen throughout stages of the postseason, right? At some point, you're going to get shut down by pitching. So you got to work your way to get ahead as well and give your pitcher an opportunity to have a lead early in the game. Because how many times the Mets had a lead in this postseason? Twice to start I think it was 2 times. I think both of them were game 2s.
Just around there, yeah.
We were leading the game 2 in the Brewers, leading the game 2 of the Phillies, and we lost those both games. So they need to figure out what the hell they're doing, because this is where I can go back to, this is decisions by the coaching staff where what were they telling? Like, I'm not going to blame the coaching staff because we don't know what they told the players. They could have been told the exact opposite of what they're doing at the plate. But this is a situation where I can just call it a team failure, to be quite honest, right? Because you're going to blame the players, right? They're at the plate. But what was the approach with Jack Flaherty? This guy has been absolutely garbage. He hasn't been good in the postseason in his career. So, and you even said it, Chris, he wasn't sharp. The fastballs were right over the plate. The sliders barely had any break. They weren't sharp. They were flat sliders, and they were fishing for it. So that tells me at the plate, at the very least, they were guessing wrong when in situations when they had hitter counts. They were looking. They weren't looking for a fastball. They were just guessing for a pitch, and I don't understand that. I don't know. It was just a bad performance by the lineup today.
It doesn't. It really seemed like they were kind of guessing up there, and it didn't seem like they were as locked in each at bat as they were in the Philly series. And I think that needs to change starting game 2. And if it's anything beyond game 2, then this team is in trouble. This team, again, as we said in the pregame, needs to take advantage of this Dodgers starting pitching. And again, right, we don't know who they're throwing game 2. It could be a bullpen game in game 2. I thought it was going to be a bullpen game for them in game 4. They decided that they want to pitch Yoshinobu Yamamoto on an extra day rest for game 4. So that would move up their bullpen game in game 3. But from everything that we've been seeing, we know that we're locked into Sean Manaea tomorrow, right? Which is awesome, right? I feel like if you need a bounce back game, if you're the New York Mets, which they need in Los Angeles, you would want Sean Manaea on the mound. And that's a pitcher that everybody wanted out there tonight. Okay, you get him tomorrow. Fine. But who the hell are the Dodgers pitching tomorrow? I don't think we know that just yet.
Well, you know what? They got that luxury. They got that luxury because they won game 1.
They do have that luxury, and they've had that luxury because their bullpen is no joke. I said this in my preview. And all the names that I named out of that Dodgers bullpen, I told everybody that this bullpen is no joke. And everybody wanted to tell me that, the Phillies bullpen was no joke, and then the Mets went and got them. They had their number. This is a different ball game. This is a different ball game. It really is.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a must win, man. Tomorrow's a must win. Sean Manaea on the mound. maybe a bullpen game for the Dodgers tomorrow. I believe it's a 4:08 p.m. start time. So, first of all, are we doing a pregame before that? Are we doing a pregame? What is your availability for that?
It's 4:00, right? It's 4:00 tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's like a 4:08 p.m. start time.
Yeah, we could do it. We could do a 2:30, 2:45 pregame. Why not?
There you go. There you have it. We're on the pregame for 2:30, 2:45. Turn those notifications on and hit those thumbs up.
Man, how nice would it have been if we would have won today because they're pitching a bullpen game tomorrow? Now, I don't think they would have much of a bullpen game if they lost today. I think they would have found a way.
They wouldn't have. They would not have. They would not have.
Another reason why Kodai Senga was the bad decision. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to say it again. I'm sorry, but
I agree. I understand that line of thinking. I understand it, but again, like people like, and I'm not saying you because you were advocating for that from the start, but like people will just look at the stat line for Kodai Senga and like it's like hindsight's always 20/20 for them, and they will always say that after the fact of the stuff happens. I'm going to stand on 10 toes of what I said in the pregame and in my preview that I'd rather see Kodai Senga more often than not in this series. And I'm going to have to live with that. It backfired because he did not look sharp tonight. And I'm not going to, bullshit anybody into thinking that he did because he looked absolutely horrendous out there. Like we all know that. But again, a combination of that and a combination of the offense absolutely looked like they had no approach up there. They looked like they did not know what was going on up there, and that needs to change. Whether it's a bullpen game tomorrow or whether it's Walker Buehler tomorrow, I don't care, right? Sean Manaea is pitching in Los Angeles tomorrow. You need to even the series. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Just because the Mets lost game one, I'm going to be quite honest with you in the fact that if the Mets decide to bounce back and take game two tomorrow, right? That kind of flips home field advantage in their side, and they can utilize that. Win game two tomorrow. You lost game one. Nobody's disputing the fact that you should have won game one, right? It's not the end of the world. Let's be honest. It's not the end of the world. Win game two and go back to Citi Field strong. And I like my chances. I will say that. But also, Rob, what I will say is that the 2-3-2 playoff format from the MLB needs to change. I hate that format. I've been so accustomed to seeing 2-2-1-1-1, and now that I have to go back to 2-3-2, it's like, oh my goodness, like it's a little bit of an adjustment. I'm not going to lie to you, but anyways, that's besides the point.
Yeah, the team with the better record kind of gets screwed because if you lose one game at home in the first two, you might not go back home. Like I think that's very unfair to the better record team. But again, that's we can't change that. But I wanted to ask you something about Kodai Senga though. Are you concerned about the velocity? He had 8 days off.
What was he? I didn't even look at what he was. You said he was 93 today?
94.
He was 94 today?
Yeah, and his last batter was 93.
I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I'm not concerned.
Okay.
Listen, I mean, this guy's going to come back around. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that the Mets are going to force a game 5. And when game 5 comes around and Kodai Senga goes out there, and maybe he does get bumped up to 60 pitches, right? And he goes out there pumping 96, 97. As soon as that happens, I don't want to hear anybody in the chat talking about, oh, great job, Kodai Senga. If you're jumping off the Kodai Senga bandwagon right now, I'm sorry. Get off the bandwagon. The Mets are going to force the issue for a game 5. He's going to be out there for a game 5. If not game 5, he's going to be out there for at least another start in this series, Rob. I'm telling you all this right now.
Well, that's where I agree with you.
And he's going to come back with a vengeance. I have no doubt in my mind about it. So stay off that bandwagon. If you're off, I get it. You guys got it. Get in and look the best tonight. I get it. Awesome. Y'all got it. Next time around, I'm going to be doing victory laps. I promise you that.
Well, you know what though? I agree with you in this sense. I think Senga will bounce back next time he pitches. I'm going to say that right now, even though I didn't agree with the game one decision. I know we're going to see him again, but I don't think you're going to see a bet. Look, can he pitch poorly? Sure. But I feel like he's going to have, at least he'll have his command. Like if he gets beat with his command, then it's like, tippy cap to the Dodgers. But I do agree. I think he's going to be fine next time out. Even though he looked terrible today, whatever the reason is, like, again, when I'm not watching the post game on SNY or SNY right now, are they talking about Senga? Is there something up with him? Like, because that's the only thing I could have thought of. Like, I was thinking, like, is he favoring something, or he just didn't have the touch today at all? Like, no pitches were sharp. So, but I agree with you. I think he's definitely going to pitch again, and I'm confident in the second time out that he'll pitch better. How much better? I think better. I think better. But look, what today brought us with the lack of offense. The no-show from Senga today in the early part of the game for the 1 1/3 inning. Now you have to take game two. You put yourself in a spot where you have to take game two. And that's it, right? This is a team loss, right? It's not like the offense scored 5 runs and you lost 9-5. Then I would have had more of a problem with Kodai Senga pitching. But again, the offense didn't help the cause at all. If the offense showed life, maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll be even more pissed. But I'm just as upset at the offense as I am Kodai Senga, because I wasn't expecting much from Senga, to be quite honest with you. I thought he would be, okay. I thought he would let up a run or two, to be quite, that's the way I felt, because I mean, I don't expect him to be great right now, especially from his second start of the year, or, in the postseason. I just wasn't. So it was a team loss. And look, they got to get right back on the horse. And look, you got your horse on the mound in Sean Manaea. You need a performance like we had at Citi Field in Game 3. You need that from him. That's what you need tomorrow. And the offense, wake the fuck up. Like, I know you had a couple of days off, and this is kind of the first time really where the entire lineup looked lost today. The whole game, I'm not going to say it's concerning, but they need to get it together. And look, why couldn't we believe in this team and trust this team, right? Every time they had a tough loss, they've come back. So until they don't, I'm not going to be concerned, because you got an ace on the mound, and this lineup has showed us they have a bounce back ability. This team showed us they have a bounce back ability after a tough loss. And you know what? They probably checked it in after the 5th inning, to be quite honest with you. They were probably already thinking about tomorrow. I know that's not good to say as a professional, but come on, we're all human. We all saw the game in front of us. Who wasn't thinking about tomorrow? They got to play their ass off tomorrow, man. They might do everything right and still lose, but I want fucking effort tomorrow from this lineup, 100%.
Again, people always, again, I know that you and a lot of other people in Mets Nation did not want Kodai Senga to start. But the fact of the matter is that we've been entrusting in Carlos Mendoza, and we've been entrusting in this organization. And for you all to tell me that you entrust in this organization and that you all entrust in this, manager that is Carlos Mendoza, stand on 10 toes. Stand on 10 toes. Your manager was the one who went out there and decided that Kodai Senga was ready for NLCS Game 1. It didn't work out. It did not work out. So we're not going to trust the manager all of a sudden because it didn't work out in hindsight? Hindsight's always 20/20. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I digress. Let me just not even go that route. I won't go that route. I trusted in you, Mendoza. I did, and I still do. Manaea's going Game 2. In the event that you needed a Game 2, an ace to try to respond, if you did not get Game 1, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. You need game 2 if you are the New York Mets. You absolutely need it. Regain home field advantage, quote unquote, and get the job done. You got spanked by the Dodgers in game 1. Nobody is going to argue that. Everybody saw the product that you put out in game 1. You got spanked. It's as simple as that, and that's fine. Go out there and take game 2. Because guess what? Run differentials here, Rob, they don't matter. Run differentials don't matter. As long as you get to 4 games first, that's what matters. So we can sit here and talk about whether you entrust in the decision of Carlos Mendoza pitching Kodai Senga game 1. We can talk about that all day long. But the fact of the matter is that we have to go out there and take game 2. But I just think it's kind of funny how we're supposed to sit here and entrust Carlos Mendoza this whole year, but then act like we're not going to entrust in him and pitching Kodai Senga game 1. I think that's kind of funny. Anyways, I digress. Let's go, Mets. I'm going to give you the final thoughts here. I just gave my final thoughts. Take game 2. It's very important. It's very important to take game 2. You need to take game 2. I don't want to say that it's a must-win tomorrow, Rob, but I think we can all agree that this is a must-win for the New York Mets going back home for 3 straight games. This is a must-win.
Yeah, it puts you back in
change the narrative. Change the narrative.
It puts you back in the driver's seat if you win tomorrow for sure. But I think, Chris, I think you would agree with me. I think everybody in the chat would agree with me. I'm confident about tomorrow, right? I am because why this team has not, besides today, right? That you should brush off your shoulders. Even though the Dodgers are up one game to none in a 7-game set, and they need to win 3 more, we still got to win 4 more. I'm confident in tomorrow, right? I kind of moved on quickly from. I was in around the 6th inning, and I was moving on. I was checking out tomorrow. Like, all right, it's going to be Manaea. I'm like, let me look at the pitching matchup. I know I couldn't tell who the Dodgers pitching, but I'm like, all right, so who's this going to be in the lineup? Are they going to make a little bit of changes? Like, that's what I was thinking of. But, the faith in Mendoza is still there. I didn't like the decision today, but again, bygones be bygones. Who am I to, say that Mendoza was wrong? Just because Senga didn't pitch well doesn't mean that he was wrong. I mean, yeah, afterwards, it still is wrong because they felt that he was ready. Okay, that's cool. Tomorrow, there is no excuse. You lose tomorrow, I will have a lot of problems with a lot of people, depending on how it happens, by the way. Right? If it's a walk-off, like, what the hell are you going to do? Right? I think that's the one thing where he's like, oh, well. But let me see the offense come around and bounce back. I'm not going to destroy an offense that has been doing their job this entire postseason, right? I'm not going to bury them for 1 game, right? It was despicable, but it is 1 game. They did have 3 days off. Usually the lineup and the offense is going to take a step or 2. The Dodgers have been playing. They played 2 days ago. So I'm not going to destroy the lineup and just throw them to the wolves and say, screw these guys. Because if they put this lovely stat line tomorrow, then we have a problem. Because then you start getting concerned. But the goal here, especially in a long series, especially when you have 3 games coming up at home after tomorrow, all you got to do is win 1 game on the road. And you're back in the driver's seat. You will have home field advantage, and it makes it that much harder for the Dodgers to pick us off a game at Citi Field to get back home to Dodger Stadium. That's what the Mets have to do tomorrow. You just got to pick up 1. Again, it always feels nice. Remember when I said in the Philly series, right? We won game 1, but everybody almost jumped off the Shea Bridge when we lost game 2, and the series was over because they lost game 2 in that fashion. But if it was flipped, you would feel a hell of a lot better if they won game 2 going home. So now, I guarantee you, Chris, if we win tomorrow, everybody's going to feel a hell of a confident going home because it's still 1-1. But how you do it makes the fans feel so much better.
It's recency bias is what you're trying to say. It was recency bias. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I definitely agree with you. Win tomorrow. And guess what? Mets fans are feeling right back up. They're feeling energetic again. And again, I can't blame them because, again, the goal should be one on the road. And then you take care of business at home. That at least is my mindset. And I guess that's why the Dodgers, after they took game one, that's why they're trying to squeak by with another win as in a bullpen game at home rather than trying to do so with a starter at home. They'd rather save the extra starter in the away series and just see what happens in the game two. Like tomorrow is probably going to be a bullpen game for the Dodgers, right? And that bullpen game is going to be in the same game that Sean Manaea is pitching. So the Dodgers are like, okay, we're feeling good. It's a 1-0 series lead. Let's try to get out of here with a 2-0 series lead going back to their place. And we can save both of our other starters, not named Jack Flaherty, in games 3 and 4. I feel like that's the reasoning why we don't have a starting pitcher named tomorrow for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But again, the Mets offense has to show up. That is the common denominator. I was not thrilled with the at-bats that the Mets took tonight. I think they have to get better. And you know what? If you take game 2 tomorrow, again, you feel really good as a Mets fan going back to game 3 or going to game 3, going to Citi Field in Queens. So again, that's it for me. Rob, do you have anything else? Because I think we've kind of exhausted what we saw tonight in terms of, why Kodai Senga wasn't really sharp and why Kodai Senga might have been out there in the first place. Do you have any other final thoughts for the crowd before we wrap things up?
Just win tomorrow. You got your ace on the mound. You should be feeling confident, right? I think they should be going in confident tomorrow. I'm going to go in confident tomorrow just because the offense didn't show up today. I feel confident in them. You got your ace on the mound. I expect Manaea to pitch well. Now, that's not the end-all be-all. The offense got to score runs, but, the Dodgers have scored 9 runs, right? I mean, we kind of helped them in that aspect without giving them any type of good pitching. So, go out there, get it done early. How about giving Sean Manaea a lead in the first inning? How about that? That would be freaking nice. I'm sick and tired of coming back all the time. It's a lot of fun, but I'd rather go ahead in the game and make me feel a little bit better about our pitcher not having to be perfect in a ball game. So score early. I trust Manaea and fucking win tomorrow because it's a must win. And get back home.
It really is a must win. And on my preview last night, I was talking to some Dodgers fans in the chat, and they said that, in the event of a bullpen game for the Los Angeles Dodgers, they usually go with Brazier as their opener from the bullpen. So maybe expect him to be the first one out for the Dodgers tomorrow if they don't announce a starting pitcher. Again, I think that because the Dodgers won game 1, they are fully expecting and they would fully embrace a bullpen game for game 2 and then save Walker Buehler and Yoshinobu Yamamoto for games 3 and 4 away. I think that's the way that the Dodgers are feeling, and that's the way that they're approaching things right now. And you know what? I don't blame them. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't blame them because if you're the Dodgers and you're able to take 2 and the second game is a bullpen game, you're feeling really damn good going to New York and going to Citi Field trying to close the series out. So I don't blame them. The Mets bats have to make adjustments. And guess what? We'll see you all tomorrow for the pregame show. Again, early pregame show because it's an early game. It's a 4:08 Eastern Standard Time start. So we'll probably do the pregame show around 2:30. We're going to have you all covered. We are going to have you covered. Don't you worry about that. This is tomorrow. Tomorrow is a must-win game for the New York Mets. No matter how you cut it out, Obviously, they used a plethora of bullpen arms, right? They used David Peterson. They used Reed Garrett. Pretty sure they used Jose Buto. Like, I can't even like go through how many like arms they used tonight. Really, Rob. Like, it was a lot. It was kind of a lot. More than I would have liked.
Damn, I love Ottavino in that spot.
Oh, there you go. And then there you go. Adam Ottavino is not doing the mop-up duty anymore because he's not a part of this roster anymore. But again, we got you all covered tomorrow. Don't you worry. We don't shy away from losses. We're here on the post game. We know that you all want to talk about it. We understand that there's some Dodgers fans in the live chat. And you know what, Dodgers fans? You should celebrate the win. You should celebrate the win. But tomorrow's a new day. Actually, today's a new day. It's already October 14th. It's 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. on the dot. Today's a new day. We're coming after you. We're coming after you. It's Sean Manaea bump day. It's Sean Manaea bump day. Rob, take us away with your final thoughts here.
Get it done tomorrow. We got the tribal chief on the mound in LA. Get it done. I have full confidence this team is going to bounce back and win game 2. And head home to Queens for 3 games.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Beat LA. Let's go.
Let's do it. Absolutely. Change the narrative. Hashtag change the narrative. Hashtag beat LA. All that fun stuff. 1-0 series deficit is not a death sentence, people. It's not a death sentence. Sean Manaea, the tribal chief, the ace of this entire season, you got to get it done tomorrow because this is a must-win game for the New York Mets in Game 2 in Los Angeles. 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll be here with you all at 2:30 for the pregame. We will be with you all for the postgame. Appreciate you all being here. Let's go Mets. You got to believe, people. You got to believe. Let's go Mets. Catch you all tomorrow. Peace.